Welcome back to CoinQuest Coin Collectors and Curious Minds. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most common coins in America, the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny. You've probably come across this coin more than once in your change jar, but did you know that some versions of the 1971 Lincoln penny are actually worth a surprising amount of money today? Let's break down everything you need to know about this coin, what makes it potentially valuable, and what you should be looking for if you think you have a hidden treasure in your pocket. The 1971 penny features the classic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, just as it has since 1909. This was the first regular U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait, and Lincoln's image has remained on the penny for well over a century. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 to 2008 before being replaced in 2010. Now, the 1971 penny was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones struck in Philadelphia do not have a mint mark. Denver pennies are marked with a small letter, D, under the date, and San Francisco pennies are marked with an S. In terms of mintage numbers, the U.S. Mint produced over 5 billion pennies in 1971. Yes, you heard that right, billions. That includes more than 1.5 billion from Philadelphia, 2.5 billion from Denver, and over 500 million from San Francisco. So, in general, a 1971 penny is not rare, at least not most of them. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1971 pennies are created equal. Some rare varieties and errors can make a 1971 penny worth much more than just 1 cent. And that's what we're going to uncover now. Let's start with the most famous and valuable variation, the 1971 double die obverse. A double die error happens when the coin's die, which stamps the design onto the blank, is misaligned during the engraving process, causing parts of the design to be duplicated. On the 1971 double die penny, you'll see clear doubling on the inscriptions. "In God we trust, Liberty," and especially on the date, 1971. If you have one of these rare double die pennies, it could be worth anywhere from $50 to several $100s depending on its condition. Some extremely high-grade examples have even sold for over $1,000 at auction. Another key factor in a coin's value is its condition, or what collectors call the grade. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with mint state coins, those that have never been in circulation, starting at MS 60. A 1971 penny in average circulated condition is only worth its face value. But a coin in uncirculated condition, especially one graded MS 65 or higher, could sell for between $10 and $50. If it's a rare error variety in mint state, that number could climb even higher. There are also a few other errors to watch out for. Some 1971 pennies were struck off center or have die cracks, cuds, or even misaligned dies. These are all minting mistakes that can increase the coin's value. Off-center strikes, for example, where part of the design is missing or shifted, can be worth up to $100 depending on how dramatic the error is and how well the coin is preserved. Another variety that collectors look for is the small date versus large date versions. While this distinction is more prominent in 1970 pennies, there are subtle differences in the font and number style that some believe exist in 1971 as well. While not officially recognized in pricing guides, niche collectors do sometimes pay a premium for these varieties. Let's talk about proof coins now. Proof pennies were specially made for collectors and struck at the San Francisco Mint. These have a shiny, mirror-like finish and very sharp details. Proof coins from 1971 will always have an S mint mark. In pristine condition, a 1971 S proof penny might be worth around $1 to $5. However, if it contains a doubling error or is graded PR 69 or PR 70, it can be worth much more, sometimes over $100. So, How can you tell if your 1971 penny is valuable? Start by checking the mint mark. Look closely for an S or D under the date. Then examine the text carefully for doubling, especially the words Liberty and In God We Trust. Next, consider the condition. If the coin looks like it's never been used, no scratches, nicks, or wear, you might have an uncirculated or proof coin. Finally, if you suspect you found an error coin, take it to a reputable coin dealer or have it graded by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. This will help you determine the coin's exact value and rarity. Now let's take a quick look at recent market activity. As of 2025, a 1971 double die penny in mint state condition has sold for as much as $2,000. A regular 1971 penny in brilliant uncirculated condition is worth up to $50. Error coins like off-center strikes or clipped planchets can bring in anywhere from $10 to a few $100s, depending on severity and collector interest. Even a proof penny with an unusual flaw can bring in a good profit. In short, if you come across a 1971 penny, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Take a second look. You might be holding on to a piece of copper that's worth a lot more than 1 cent. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos on rare coins, hidden treasures, and numismatic news. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a post, and let us know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable penny in your own collection. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, the next coin you find might just change your life. Where we uncover hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 2005 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin. You might be thinking it's just another ordinary penny. But believe it or not, this little copper-plated coin could be worth a lot more than its face value. And in some rare cases, hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So make sure you stay with me until the end, because you might be holding on to a small fortune without even knowing it. Let's start with a bit of background. The Abraham Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first time a real person appeared on a circulating American coin. Before that, the U.S. Mint typically used symbolic representations of liberty. The image of Lincoln that you see on the penny was designed by Victor David Brenner and has remained iconic ever since. Now fast forward to 2005. The penny minted this year may seem like a basic modern coin at first glance, but there's more to the story. In 2005, the U.S. Mint produced the Lincoln penny with the familiar obverse or front side featuring the bust of Abraham Lincoln. The reverse side still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 until 2008. But in terms of value, it's not the design that makes this coin special. It's the errors, varieties, and mint marks that make all the difference. Let's break it down. There are 3 main mints that produce the 2005 Lincoln penny: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can tell which mint made your coin by looking for the small letter just under the date on the obverse side. If there's no letter, it's from Philadelphia. AD means Denver, and S means San Francisco. Most of the high-value coins we're talking about today come from the Denver and Philadelphia mints. Now here's where it gets interesting. Some 2005 Lincoln pennies from the Philadelphia Mint were struck with a double die. This type of error happens during the minting process when the die that stamps the coin has been impressed more than once in slightly different positions. The result is doubling, especially noticeable on the lettering or the date. A double die 2005 penny can be worth anywhere from $50 to over $200, depending on its condition and how strong the doubling appears. So grab a magnifying glass and inspect the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. If they look slightly doubled or shadowed, you might have something valuable. Another big one is the off-center strike. This error occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, and part of the design is missing or pushed off to the side. The more off-center it is while still showing the full date, the more valuable it becomes. A 2005 Lincoln penny with a significant off-center strike can fetch between $100 and $400, depending on the percentage of the misalignment and its condition. Next up, broad strikes. These are coins struck without the retaining collar, causing them to spread out more than usual. A 2005 penny with a broad strike error can be worth around $20 to $100, again depending on condition and eye appeal. Another variety to look for is the clipped planchet error. This is when a coin is struck on a piece of metal that wasn't properly cut into a full round shape. You'll notice a curved or straight edge missing from the coin. These clipped planchet 2005 pennies can sell for $30 to $150. Now let's talk about proof coins. Proof Lincoln cents are minted in San Francisco and carry the S Mint mark. These coins are struck multiple times with specially prepared dies, giving them a shiny mirror-like finish and extra sharp details. Although most proof pennies are not super rare, if they're still in perfect condition, what collectors call PR69 or PR70, they can be worth a bit more. But if you have a 2005 S-proof penny with an error, like a strike-through or double die, the value can increase dramatically. It's also important to consider the coin's grade. A regular 2005 Lincoln penny from circulation is worth 1 cent, maybe a few cents to a collector. But if your coin is in mint state, that is, it has never been used in circulation and has no scratches or dings, then it can fetch $5 to $20, and sometimes more if it's a higher grade like MS66 or MS67. For example, a 2005 D penny graded MS67 read by PCGS, which is one of the top grading services, has sold for over $350 at auction. That's right, a 1-cent coin turning into hundreds of dollars, just because of its pristine condition. Now, if you're wondering how to tell if your coin is valuable, here's a quick checklist. First, check the date and mint mark. Look for errors like doubling, off-center strikes, or missing parts of the design. Use a magnifying glass or a microscope if you have one. Next, examine the overall condition of the coin. Is it shiny with no scratches? That's a good sign. And finally, if you think you've found something special, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to get an expert opinion. So what's the takeaway? Most 2005 Lincoln pennies are still only worth face value. But if you're lucky enough to find a coin with the right error or in top-notch condition, it could be worth 100 times or even 1,000 times more. It pays to look closely, and the best part is that these coins are still out there in pocket change, old piggy banks, coin jars, or even rolls of pennies from the bank. So go on a treasure hunt. Who knows? Your next big find might be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare or valuable penny. I read every single one, and I love hearing your stories. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next one. Did you know that a simple penny from 2008 featuring Abraham Lincoln could actually be worth far more than 1 cent? That's right. What you might think is just pocket change could actually be a tiny treasure hiding in plain sight. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 2008 Lincoln 1-cent coin. We'll talk about its history, unique varieties, rare minting errors, and of course, its current market value. So if you've got a jar of pennies lying around, you're going to want to check them after this. Let's start with the basics. The 2008 penny features the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. This portrait of Lincoln has been on the penny since 1909. That makes it the longest-running design in American coinage history. The reverse, or the back side, of the 2008 penny still shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design that was used from 1959 until 2008. That's right. 2008 was the final year that the Lincoln Memorial design appeared on the reverse side of the penny. Starting in 2009, the United States Mint released 4 new reverse designs to celebrate the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the first Lincoln cent. That alone makes the 2008 Lincoln penny a bit more interesting to collectors. But what really gives some of these 2008 pennies extra value are a few key factors: mint mark, condition, and minting errors. Let's talk mint marks first. In 2008, pennies were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia pennies have no mint mark. The Denver coins are marked with a small d. And the San Francisco pennies, which were only released as proof coins, have an S mint mark. Now, most regular circulation pennies from Philadelphia and Denver are still worth face value unless they're in near perfect condition. But the San Francisco proof pennies are another story. These coins are struck with special care and polished dies to create a mirror-like finish. If you have a 2008 S-proof penny that is still sealed or has been graded by a professional coin grading service, it could be worth a few dollars, sometimes even up to $20 or more depending on the grade and demand. Now let's talk about minting errors. This is where things get really exciting. Some 2008 Lincoln cents are worth far more than face value due to rare errors. These include double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and more. A double die error happens when the coin is struck more than once in slightly different positions, causing visible doubling of letters or numbers. One 2008 penny with a dramatic double die on the reverse sold for over $50. An off-center strike, where the design is visibly misaligned, can increase a coin's value significantly. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, such a coin can sell for anywhere from $10 to over $100. Even more subtle errors, like die cracks or cuts, where a piece of the die breaks off, can give the coin character and value. The most valuable 2008 pennies are those in pristine condition, especially those graded MS 67 or higher. MS stands for mint state, and the scale goes from 60 to 70. A coin graded MS 70 is considered perfect with no flaws even under magnification. These high-grade coins are typically found in uncirculated rolls, or from coin sets purchased directly from the U.S. Mint. If you find a 2008 penny that looks shiny, flawless, and freshly minted, it might be worth sending it in to get graded. A top-rated example from either Philadelphia or Denver can fetch $15 to $40 or more depending on the buyer and market trends. Another tip to consider: coins with strong eye appeal, rich original luster, and no visible contact marks always do better with collectors. If your 2008 penny looks extra sharp or has that deep red color that collectors love, it's definitely worth a closer look. What is the current market value of a 2008 Abraham Lincoln penny? Most circulated coins are still worth 1 cent. But if you've got a coin with an error, a rare proof finish, or it's in high uncirculated grade, its value could range from a couple of dollars to over $100 in some cases. And don't forget, error coins are in demand right now. Some collectors specialize in just error coins and are willing to pay top dollar for dramatic examples. Before we wrap up, here's a quick tip. Always handle coins by the edges and avoid cleaning them. Even well-intentioned cleaning can scratch the surface and reduce a coin's value significantly. If you're not sure about a coin's worth, consider getting it appraised by a local coin dealer or submitting it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. In conclusion, the 2008 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin may be small in size, but it carries big potential. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about the coins in your change jar, it's worth taking a closer look. Who knows? That ordinary-looking penny might just be your next big discovery. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting tips, values, and hidden treasures. And as always, keep checking your change, because you never know what it might be worth.